Kusile masala mahle seveleshayile insimbi esithupha mhla eksena sinivusele sinemukele ehlelweni Kusile breakfast show sibonge kakhulu ukuthi nikhethe ukubanathi nalamuhla kungilesine it is the 19th of September 2024. Yes, siselenje inyanga letimbalwa ukuthi sifike eminyakeni omusha wa 2025 sesema ukuthi sesitawuphetha nje umnyaka tifiso takho netincumo konke ama goals loba kubekile ukuthi kutawendeka eminyakeni wa 2024 okwendekile. My name is Lungelele Makagola. Thank you for tuning in. Namhla ekseni kukumbuka ukuthi you can also watch us on YouTube, Eswatini TV. Mguni, how are you this morning?
Doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm awesome.
I'm all right. My name is Fiso Ngumalo. Really proud to co-host with this lovely lady sitting right next to me today and driving a conversation looking at the development of our country. And today we want to dive into a conversation that promises to shape Eswatini's digital future. Joining us is going to be Senator Savannah Mazia, who is the Minister of Information, Communication and Technology and the driving force behind Eswatini's rapid digital transformation. Now, with her leadership, Eswatini has inked a landmark memorandum of understanding with the United Arab Emirates to accelerate our digital journey. We want to explore the details of the Government in Your Hand initiative, which also promises to bring government services closer to Maswati, and how the partnership with the UAE is going to unlock unprecedented opportunities in artificial intelligence, science, technology, engineering and mathematics education, popularly known as STEM education, as well as ICT investment. We want to unpack her bold vision for the future. As Senator Mazia has said many a times, the next 20 years are going to be vastly different from the last 20. What does this mean for Eswatini, for our youth, and for our place in the global digital economy? Stay tuned for an engaging conversation. It's going to happen at 6:30 in the next couple of minutes with the Minister herself, who is at the helm of this exciting transformation. Good morning once again.
Good morning once again. Today on Kusile Breakfast Show, we'll be joined by Marketing Officer at MBVeni Meat Industries, Nonsikelelo Dlamini, to talk about the quality of their meat, their range of products, how MBVeni is aligning to the King's vision and community engagement. We'll then later have the Managing Director at Swaziland Building Society, Mbali Sibanyoni, to talk about a special meeting that they will have with their members. The purpose of this meeting is to obtain the approval of members for the conversion of the SBS. Do stay tuned with us. For now, let's take a look at newspaper headlines. Eswatini Observer kanye Eswatini Daily News. Let's start with the Eswatini Observer. Your leading headlines this morning: we can't recover COVID-19 funds, says the National Disaster Management Agency. Government's HR with zero Emalangeni net pay received grants. PAC says HR must repay the money. Says money cannot be recovered from undeserving recipients as some are poor. And in other news, government hands over 68 cars. This is the first batch of 68 cars purchased by the Ministry of Public Works and Transport in partnership with Standard Bank. Minister Savannah is in demand lately. This is according to the Prime Minister. And a cold front is looming.
Dreading that cold front that is coming. I thought we were done with winter, but it looks like, the climatic conditions are proving otherwise. Moving on to the sports headlines, the Eswatini Observer. Wanderer's case rages on as judge asked to recuse himself. Advocate Lucas Mazia cites a potential conflict, and Judge Bonginkosi Makakula wants proof of conflict. The case is back at the High Court tomorrow. I beg your pardon. Another story: Mbube Marathon races is sold out, and history has been made once again after all categories of the Mbube Marathon were sold out. Zabai Krina speaks to Leopard Bucks match that is now going to be played on Saturday.
Looking at the Eswatini Daily News, leading headlines this morning: ERS collects 6.2 billion Malangeni, 13% increase. Minister Neil launches the 2024 tax filing season and introduces tax ease. Government boosts service delivery with 68 new vehicles in 300 million Malangeni partnership with a Standard Bank. The Prime Minister lauds the FAO support at the Agriculture Forum.
Eswatini Daily News Sport this Thursday morning. Bigger story, new twist in Wanderer's case. Chimo Moses now wants Judge Bonginkosi Makakula to recuse himself, and the case has been postponed to Friday. On another story from the over rather 1.2 million Emalangeni Insta tournament cash for schools soccer is another exciting development. And from the international front, Arsenal focuses on Atlanta, and that is ahead of the Manchester City showdown.
Yeah, it's 6 minutes after 6, and that's it for our newspaper headlines. Let's take a break. Sabiane Tinzaba.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Sinumukele siyakuvuselana lo sanza kusivulela nati tinzaba. Umhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu Russell Dlamini sewuvule umhlangano wetekulima lotawubuka tinkinga letikhona kanye netisombululo takhona. Lenye tinkinga letinkhulu lekubheka ukuthi isombululeke nguleyo yokuthi 70% wekudla lokudliwa lapha eveni ngulokubuya emaveni angephandle. Umhlangano bobanjelwe The George Hotel kaManzini.
Umhlonishwa Ndvunankhulu Russell Dlamini uthi lo mhlangano wetekulima ufika esikhatsini lapho uhulumende acedza kwetfula umgomo wakhe wekusebenta kule minyaka lesihlanu loveta ukuthi kufanele umnotho ukhule nga-12% ngeminyaka.
Experts often say output is a function of inputs, the environment, and execution. Government has adopted the role of an active enabler in the process of economic transformation. We are gathered here today in a resource mobilization drive, and our aim is to market our planned activities so as to attract investment into the sector. This investment will provide the required inputs that will help the country improve its production systems to achieve increased agricultural input.
Litiko letekulima lithi linelisu lekuthi kukhule umkhicito wetekulima lowendiwa ngekhatsi eveni lofaka ekhatsi ummbila, emabhontshisi, timfishi nenyama yenkomo kulokunye.
We expect that very soon we'll be producing enough for ourselves. But the issue is that you also need to manage risks so that in case there's a drought, or because for now we don't have enough irrigation infrastructure to continuously produce under irrigation. So we still will be dependent on rainfall, although we're targeting those relatively wet areas. But we therefore want to build strategic grain reserves in different places so that if for any reason there is any disaster, we're able to feed the nation for at least a couple of, in fact, we are planning to feed the nation for 3 years.
Lokuvetwe yinsha kulo mhlangano ukuthi kunesidzingo sekuthi kube netikhwama tekuboleka imali yekulima letawuba nentalo lencane kakhulu ukuze kutawukhuthateka abantu labasha ukuthi bangene kutekulima batsengise. Tindzabeni teSwatini TV kubika Themkosi Mavimbela, Inasimuva Shongwe kaManzini.
Ivonete kuthutha umhlonishwa sikhulu uNdlahlaza Ndwandwe seyethulele ematiko ahulumende etimoto letithengwe nguhulumende kusita kusebenta kwamatiko. Indvuna yithi ematiko ake nesiciniseko sokuthi letimoto tinakekelwa ngelizinga lelisetulu. Letimoto letetfulwe itolo tingu-68 kanti letithengwe nguhulumende tingu-741 setitonke.
Indvuna yetiko letemisebenti lemikhulu nekutfutsa imphunga sikhulu Ndlahlaza Ndwandwe seyetfulele ematiko ahulumende luhla lekucala letimoto letahulumende letinge-60 kuleto letinge-741 letitsengile hulumende. Indvuna ke ithi inhloso lenkulu ukucinisekisa ukuthi hulumende ufinyelele esiveni ngesikhathi.
Kusebenta kahulumende bese kulukhuni kakhulu kude timotolo tekwenda umsebenzi kude timotolo tekunika sive lusito sitawukhumbula ukuthi esibayeni sikhalo lesikhulu sive besikhala ukuthi asilithole lusito nasithi sibika la sibika khona kumele sithole lusito imphendvulo ithi kude timoto so sikulolo nyawo ukuthi tisebenti tembuso tisasebenta tisita sive sitinike leti motolo tekusebenta. Singasho nje ukuthi letimotolo setiphelele kwanyalo titawuba ngu-741 namuhla lestetfulako ematikweni tingu-68 kungaba kucila nje ematikweni ukuthi tiphathwe kahle letimoto tisebenziseke kahle letimoto sisasebenta lamatikweni ema-ofisi akusithi sonke lekufanele ukuthi sibe netimoto letimoto leti tita ne-tracker titawube tibonakala konke la titawube tihamba khona tibukwa abaphathi bematiko ngekwehlukana.
Umphathi welibhange le-Standard Bank kuleli mvuselelo fakutse uthi intuthuko yelive le-Kusile vele ibita kubambisana kwakhe uhulumende nabosomabhizinisi labatimele.
One of the most important parts of what we've done on this program is to ensure that all the cars that are here are insured. So this is why they actually delayed, because we needed to sort out the insurance for the vehicles. They are all insured, so it means, and it's a milestone for government because we've known in the past what happens when a government car is involved in an accident. It was a real problem. But I think this is meant to address that. But also, in addition, it's to address how we manage fleet. We use this a lot in the private sector. I think we're just trying to digitize the way that cars are managed, the way that cars are fueled, the way that cars are used.
Kubheka ukuthi uhulumende acetse kubhadala letimotolo ngeminyaka lesihlanu bese tiba kuye ngalokuphelele. Etindzabeni yeSwatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza Sembabane.
Imvuna yetemfumvu umhlonishwa obenqumalo useyinike bothishela athu logcina ukuthi indzaba yenhlalakahle yabothishela itawusebentwa masinyane. Imvuna beyihlangene nabothishela labangaphansi kwesifundza sakaHhohho kugubhala usuku labothishela. Lomhlangano wabothishela ubanjwe isipiki.
Ikhuluma nabothishela ngaphansi kwesifundza sakaHhohho, indvuna ithe bothishela basebenta ngaphansi kwetimo letilikhuni labanye bahamba libanga lelidze kuya esikolweni ngoba kude tindlu tabothishela. Indvuna ke ithembisile ukuthi konke lokho kutawusebentwa masinyane.
Nangabe kuyabonakala ukuthi kukhona bothishela laba netinkinga financial, I think as a ministry we can assist ukuthi lo thishela loyo usitoka kanjani ukuthi aphume kuleyo nkinga leyo, because utawufundisa njani sebakutretisha ngalaba kuvalela emanti bakuvalela bogezi tikafutinte bantwana. You are so stressed, and ke as an employer kufuna kubonakale ukuthi lokho siyakunaka ukuze labo thishela bakhone kuba more productive, because vele if nangabe kunaleto tinkinga leto kutaba likhonsi basebenze sitatibuka letindzaba.
Bothishela nabo kube khona labakubekako.
Teachers' well-being and workload usikhalo le ministers lapha esikolweni. The reasons we raise is because it compromises the quality of education. Ngilo
siyakhala sikhaliswa ukuthi i-competency based education ifike yasinyathelela tifundo tetfu. Kunesifundo se-home economics lesibita ekuthiwa i-consumer science bese kuba nalesinye lekuthiwa i-agriculture. Mabasho njalo ke base abantwana ababe naleli khono lokuhlabela, babe naleli khono lokugitsa, babe naleli khono lokujayiva, leyo ke sengiyona practical subject le most important. Thina njengabotishela sikhaliswa ukuthi besati ukuthi live lelithuthukile ibase yakhona iba ka agriculture.
Kusivisa buhlungu ke ngidasi sibothishela ngingakhulumeli ma civil servants onke kuthi ngidawuhamba a distance of about 30 kilometers bese uhulumende songibhadala 17 cents per kilometer.
Litiko lithi nenzamba ekukhuphulelwa etikhundleni kwabothishela ngendlela lefanele bayayisebenta etiko. Etindzabeni ngingiyani Msibi ngisespiki.
Imvana yelitiko letekuvakasha netindzaba temvelo umhlonishwa Jane Simelane uthi uhulumende utawusukumisa umkhankaso wekutfola likhambi lelikhonsile endzabeni yesive lesidingela ngalokungekho emtsetfweni lesilahlekelwa ngumphefumulo. Imvana beyikhuluma emhlanganweni nebetindzaba ngalesithathu.
Uhulumende uthi yamkhatsata imibiko levela cishe njalo ngeliviki yesive lesidingela ngalokungekho emtsetfweni etindzaweni letigcine tilwane tasendle lesilahlekelwa ngumphefumulo. Emhlanganweni nebetindzaba ngalesithathu ekuseni indvuna yetiko letekuvakasha nemvelo umhlonishwa Jane Simelane wetfule ukuthi lelitiko litawusukumisa umkhankaso wekucocisana nesive netinhlangothi letitsintsekako kutfola likhambi lelikhonsile kulendzaba.
Ngaleso sizatfu ke litiko licela ukuthi kube nelucolo nekuthula kulabadingelako. Sikholelwa ukuthi akube nekuhlalisana nekubambisana kubanikati betindzawo tekugcina tilwane nakiyo imimango. Hulumende utsandza kukhumbuta sive ngekumcoka bekuhlonipha imitsetfo yekuvikela tindzawo tekugcina tilwane siphindze secwayise imimango ukuthi akuphele kutingela ngaphandle kwemvumo. Imigomo yekungena kuletindzawo ayihlonishwe ngoba hulumende uyati ukuthi takhamiti kungaba netintfo letitidzingo kito letakhamiti. Litiko litawusukumisa umkhankaso wekuteka letindzaba leti ngetingoni noma ngemisakato yemoya. Khona kutofinyelela kito tonke tindzawo Eswatini lendzaba lesitabe siyiteka. Lapho khona sitabe sihlanganisa banikati betindzawo tekugcina tilwane, sisebentisa bantfu lababuke imimango, siphindze sisebentise bona lababuke letindzawo ema-rangers. Sive siyaceleka lokuthi sisinikete naso emakhambi ekwekuthi lendzaba lena singayisombulula kanjani.
Indvuna ke incuse nesive ukuthi sisebentise lelitfuba lelibekwe ngumbutfo wembube nesive kumikisa tibhamu letingekho emtsetfweni. Kanti umhlonishwa ndvunankulu Russell Dlamini uke waveta ngaphambilini ukuthi ngaletigameko tesive lesilahlekelwa ngumphefumulo tibita ukuthi kubuketwe isichibelo semtsetfo weGame Act wemnyaka 1991. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza Sembabane.
Ibandla lelibuke kuphunga tehlakalo lithi selicalile liyayilungisa indzaba yekuhlela kahle emabhuku laphatselene nekusebenta kwemali kulandzelwa nemitsetfo lefanele. Lokuvetwe ngumphathi walelibandla Victor Mahlalela ngesikhatsi yeNDMA ivele mbikwe lelibuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso ePhalamende.
Langahlangani kahle kwemabhuku ekusebenta kwetimali tetinhlelo temkhuhlane i-COVID-19 ebandleni lelibunge kuphunga tehlakalo umcwaningi mabhuku wahulumende Timothy Matsebula wetfulele likomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwetimali tembuso ePhalamende i-Public Accounts Committee lapho kuvele khona ukuthi kunesive lesakhishwa elihlelweni lwetimbasha kanzi kukhona nalapho lelibandla lelasebentisa imali lengetulu kwaleyo lehleliwe.
Inkinga lenkulu kunabanaba labakhishwa ukuthi nini umuntu utholile imali ku first phase na second lesithathu soyakhishwa uyabeka ku-office ukuthi isikhala sihlalo thina ukuthi abakubhalanga phasi uzokhishelwani lona ikanti bamkhanze ecenca ukuthi uvele uyadeserva singabakazele bathola ngena sibathola i-feedback akusadocumenteki ukuthi no sibethe isimo sakhe siyajinja
Umphathi welibandla libuke kuphungathe ehlakalo Victor Mahlalela sekade igicide endlini uthi leli bandla lendaliphutha kungabhali kahle uma sekuba nelishinjo kuleti inhlelo.
Isilebe siwenda ngesizathu ngenxa lokusebenza were not documented. That is our own biggest mistake leso ukuthi i-change lebe si-effect ngaleso sikhathi leso ngoba kwakuyi-COVID so sasizange sakhona kuyi-documenta. So ngiko le auditor general bekakufuna ukuthi cha ngiyeva ukuthi senemkhiphile lona but nimkhipha ngaliphi.
Emalunga kakhulumise etingoni letahlukene talombiko emcwaningi mabhuku kahulumende.
Ngisolo ngizama grablisha wethu ukuthi the query ikakhulu ikuphi. Kube nce auditor general ukuthi nabe sena overspend kule ben allocate kona.
Lenguvako lapha kule timpendulo takhe Sipho dindzaba tema possibilities ukuthi kungaba ngiloko kungaba ngiloko ude vele lesikutholako loku straight lokuthi akwendeka kwekuthi
le query nangiva lama response laqhamuka ku controlling officer aqhamuke kulabasubukela imali aqhamuke ku AG ukuthine bese kusishiya ehlathini.
Auditor General ukhuluma nge-over expenditure controlling officer uthi over expenditure sesilandela yephi routine.
Umphathi welibandla libuke kuphungathe ehlakalo ubese uyethembisa embi kwaleli komiti elihloniphekile ukuthi batawulungisa emabhuku ekusebenta kwethu imali kuleli bandla.
In the future going forward, this is how we're going to improve on documentation of changes lesiwendako ku project la kanjengale. I think lama issues nje azalandzelana onke nalokuthi ke lokunye ngile reconciliation eshokuthi njalo ngenyanga nama after siyendeleyo payment kwendiwe quickly le reconciliation.
Ngesikhathi sisahlanganisa lo mbiko leli bandla belisachubeka nekudzingidza lo mbiko wekusebenta kwemali kuleli bandla lelibuke kuphungathe ehlakalo evenda Eswatini. Etindzabeni yeSwatini TV kubika Samkelisiwe Khoza sePhalamende.
Imvonelo litiko temabhizinisi nekuthengiselana umhlonishwa Manxoba Khumalo ethi kumcoka ukuthi emalunga ePhalamende afundziseke kahle ngemithetho kude sive singasaleli emuva emithethweni. Indvuna bekhuluma ngesikhathi ihlangane nelikomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwaleli tiko endlini yabayisikhulu.
Litiko letemabhizinisi nekuthengiselana liyachubeka nekubamba imihlangano nemalunga etindlu timbili tePhalamende kufundzisa indlu ngemithetho lemisha leshicilelwe kuleli tiko. Ngalesithathu ke leli tiko libambe lomunye umhlangano nelikomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwaleli tiko endlini yabayisikhulu lapho khona indvuna leli tiko umhlonishwa Manxoba Khumalo avedile ukuthi lo mhlangano ubuke imithetho lemibili leshicilelwe kuleli tiko we-Trading Licenses Amendment Act kanye ne-Liquor Licensing Act.
Ube umhlangano lomuhle impela ngoba abahlonishwa bakholelwa ukuthi sebangabe bemalitiko ukuthi liye mhlawumbe inkundleni phindze liyichaza lemithetho lapho khona kunesidingo khona. Kuseneke tindzawo etiningi ukuthi lokunye ngasingasheshe sikwende lokufaka ekhathi mhlawumbe ukuthi amabhokisi namabhala abekhashane netikolo abekhashane mhlawumbe nemasonto abekhashane nemanyuvesi ngoba nyalo vele simo sisasho ukuthi uhle ukhanza ukuthi akwenteka kahle lo mthetho lo sowukhona ke uyakushicilela lokuthi kufanele ukuthi kwenteke ngaleyo ndlela leyo. Kepha ke sengikusho into lokho kufuna ukubambisana komasipala ukubambisana mhlawumbe imango.
Sihlalo welikomiti lelibuke kusebenta kwaleli tiko endlini yabayisikhulu umhlonishwa Mzwandile Mamba uthi kuyakhuthata kuva ukuthi le mithetho lemibili itawusombulula tinkinga betisalela emuva.
Sicishe saphenduleka kahle ukuthi ngabe ngoba sekunemibuto leminingi ukuthi sekusukume ibhodi letiningi emakhaya. Cishe ke indvuna yembuso nelitiko likhonile ukuchazela abahlonishwa kwacishe kwaqada ukuthi kwabangwa yini litiko selikuphinyano uthini umthetho osawukhona noqishe ukubambisana nesive ekutheneni tshwala bungabe buningi kakhulu kubantwana bungabe dutana nemasonto bungabe dutana nalapho khona without a stable community. Ize futhi sibuke nje lokuningi lokuthintsana neliqwa order lebevele seyikhona le-exist ukuthi amendwa njani ngoba bese kubonakala ukuthi lamanye alama charges semadzala kakhulu.
Litiko letemabhizinisi lithi litibophelele kutfutfukisa tonke tinhlangothi letiphatselene temabhizinisi nekutsengiselana eveni kute live litfutfukise umnotfo ngetebhizinisi. Etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV kubika Samkelisiwe Khoza naSimuva Shongwe ezulwini.
Ibandla lelikoleka umthelo eSwatini Revenue Service lithi selibuthe umthelo longu-6.2 billion emalangeni ngaphansi kweluhlelo lwetebuciko i-tax system. Lokhu kuvetwe indvuna yetemafa umhlonishwa Neil Rackenberg nayisukumisa luhlelo lwesikhathi sekufakwa kwemininingwane yemthelo nokubhadala i-tax filing season. Umsebenzi bebanjelwe enhlokovisi yaleli bandla ezulwini.
Indvuna ithi i-Eswatini Revenue Service ikulungele kusita bonke labangahlangabetana nebulukhuni basabhadala umthelo noma bafaka imininingwane yemthelo. Umhlonishwa Rickenberg uthi le mali lengu-6.02 billion emalangeni lekolekwe ngileli bandla ikhombisa kukhula nga-13% nakucathaniswa neminyaka lophelile ngesikhathi lesifanako kulolu hlelo lwe-tax ease.
As we enter the tax season, I'd like to highlight the key deadlines that all taxpayers must keep in mind. The first one is the 30th of September. Employers are required to submit the annual PAYE reconciliation and make the necessary payments. The next one is the 31st of October. Businesses must file and settle their tax obligations. The next one is the 30th of November. Individuals, and particularly high net worth individuals, professionals, and those with multiple income streams must file their returns and make payments. This was referred to personal income tax. These deadlines are not mere formalities, but essential obligations. I'm proud to announce that ERS has achieved an impressive year-to-date revenue collection of 6.02 billion emalangeni, which is a 13% increase compared to last year's performance under the legacy e-tax system.
Kumaphakelo wematiko latfulwe indvuna yetemafa ngenyanga yendlovana kulomnyaka, indvuna ivetile kutsi uhulumende ubuka kutsi libandla lelikoleka umthelo likoleke imali lengu-14.5 billion emalangeni kumnyaka timali wa 2024-2025 lokukhomba kukhula nga-11% nakucathaniswa neminyaka wa 2023-2024 lapho khona leli bandla bekufanele likoleke 13.1 billion emalangeni. Etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV kubika Nelisiwe Ndlangamandla nginavuma inkosi Ndzingisa ezulwini.
Kutemidlalo lichubekile liqala emkhathini kwelicembu lemanzini Wanderers kanye nelicembu leDenver Sundowns mayelana nemdlali Jimo Moses welicembu leDenver Sundowns. Liqala lingena enkantolo lenkulu ngemuva kwekundlula ku-disciplinary committee kanye naku-appeals board lapho khona sijubo kuleto tindzawo letimbili saveta kutsi kude liqala licembu leDenver Sundowns lelalenda nalidlalisa umdlali Jimo Moses emdlalweni wekugcina wendzebe MTN Premier League kusizini ya 2023-2024 kuthi begede emaphepha ekusebenta pheceleti work permit nakadlala lo mdlalo. Lelicala ngalesithathu ekseni lingene kuma-chambers lapho khona lomelele umdlali Jimo Moses Lucas Maziya ucele lijaji Bonge Makakula kuthi litikhokhe kulelicala ngekusola kuthi kukhona lapho limtsinza khona njengoba sekunekusola kuthi sewumngani wasibani Mgomedulu longumuntu lowatiwako ecenjini lamanzini Wanderers. Lelicala libese lithatha likhefu nalibuya libuyele kuma-chambers lapho khona lijaji livetile ukuthi lelicala litawubuyela ngalesihlanu kuleliviki lakushaya insimbi yemfica ekuseni. Lelijaji licele licembu leDenver Sundowns kanye nalabo labamelele yena umdlali Jimo Moses kuthi nakubuyela lelicala ngalesihlanu bafake emaphepha ukuthi lelijaji bacela litikhokhe kulelicala njengoba kukhona lapho limtsinza khona pheceleti conflict of interest. Licembu lamanzini Wanderers kulelicala limelelwe nguSifiso Jele, iDenver Sundowns imelelwe nguBanele Ncamphalala kanti yena Jimo Moses umelelwe nguLucas Maziya. Lelicala lisembi kwelijaji Bonge Makakula. Ngaleto temidlalo sibeka lapho tindzaba tethu lomhla ekseni sazal khefu sibe sichubeka sinshine isimo selitulu.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi.
Aba research bafunze.
Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sende ukukhicita lokhu sekungiphi.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Welcome back to the program. You're still watching Kusile Breakfast Show, and this is the Thursday edition. We're getting into our first interview segment of the day, and we want to chime into some really exciting developments. Eswatini recently signed a pivotal memorandum of understanding with the United Arab Emirates. It is aimed at accelerating the nation's digital progress. You've likely heard of the Government in Your Hand initiative. It is designed to revolutionize government service delivery, and today we want to explore how this partnership is unlocking opportunities in artificial intelligence, science, technology, engineering and mathematics education, popularly known as STEM education, as well as ICT investment. Minister Savannah Mazia's vision is nothing short of bold. As she said before, the next 20 years will be vastly different from the last 20. So what does this outlook mean for Eswatini? What does it mean for our youth and for our place in the global digital economy? We're happy to have Senator Savannah Mazia, the Minister of Communication, Information Communication Technology, in studio today. A very good morning to you. I hope you're doing very well. Look, I don't know if you've seen today's headlines. People that have been watching the show today from the very beginning,
Yes.
we have this segment where we read the newspaper headlines.
Right.
And part of the Eswatini Observer segments there is that the Prime Minister himself has said it, that Minister Savannah's office is in high demand. and with good
Okay.
reason, I suppose, given the trailblazing work that your office is doing. And if you'll allow me a moment there, we are really pleased to have you in such a moment where your office is in high demand.
Thanks
Couple
for
of
having
questions
me.
for
Thank
you. A lot of developments, but maybe let's start with this thing that resonates with me very deeply. The statement I've heard you say it at, was it the Digital Symposium, as well as the government in your hand initiative. You're presenting it in one of the countries outside of Eswatini. The next 20 years will be vastly different from the last 20. What does this statement mean to Minister Savannah?
It means that it will be totally transformed from a digital perspective. Everything we're seeing today will be very different, whether we like it or we don't like it. We'll have to join that journey of the world to be part of that change. A lot of things that we see today are not going to be existing. A lot of jobs that we see today will not be existing. A lot of things that we're very used to dealing with will not be the same. You look at things like teleeducation and telemedicine. You know, you can be able to do surgery from another country, doing surgery with robotics. So a lot of things really are going to be transformative. So Nazi as Swaziland, as Eswatini, we need to be able to join that revolution and be part of that change.
I'll tell you why it resonates with me so much. For me, it underscores, first and foremost, the foresight as well as the urgency to then work on these developments. And one of the most recent developments is the MOU signing that we've seen at the United Arab Emirates, you know, being hailed as a milestone for Eswatini's digital transformation. Could you share more about the specifics of this partnership and how it's going to shape the country's digital landscape?
Right. So first of all, I mean, the UAE is just leading in the area of ICT and AI and all related areas.
Yeah.
So if you really want to do and be a leader yourself, you must follow those who are leading so you can learn from them and you can share and collaborate with them. My feeling is that this MOU is really going to help us as Eswatini to really leapfrog a lot of areas that they've been able to learn from so that we can just sort of jump in and get to join that part of the growth in this space. But also it shows the trust that they have with our country.
Yeah.
And it shows that we are really going to be going with the world leaders. You know, we're a small country in at the bottom of Africa, and if we can be able to partner with countries like UAE, we're really going to be able to change and move the needle. So for us as a ministry and us as a country, we're really excited about being able to have the honor of signing that MOU.
Yeah. Really looking forward to seeing, you know, the culmination of it being put into action, because I think, I'm sure you know this, the biggest, I suppose, grant that we have as media with a lot of, you know, politicians and a lot of, you know, decision makers is that we often see a lot of talk shops. And we obviously see the wheel, the thinking behind it. We see the policies, but not so much action. And I think what we then appreciate, and I suppose what the country is appreciating about the office that you currently lead right now, is the fact that we are seeing the wheel. We are seeing, you know, the policies and obviously the action as well. How does the Ministry of ICT plan to integrate what is now called artificial intelligence to say maybe integrate AI and data-driven technologies to enhance the public services?
Well, government offers about 200 some odd services to the citizens. So the program which we're putting in place, which is Government in Your Hand, is already going to be AI infused. So every service that government's going to offer, and many more that today it's not offering, will be able to be part of that program. So AI plays a critical role in being part of that process. And I think what's really critical for us to understand is AI already exists in many things that we do. We just don't seem to understand it as AI. So you talk about the issue of MOUs being signed. I cannot comment about the past. I can only comment about where we're going in the future. You know, working in government can be challenging. Things take longer than they really should. But we approached this MOU, we began discussing this with the UAE in April of this year. And it's now fully signed. We went and discussed the programs and the investments first. So the MOU really is just an instrument for us to be able to action the programs and the investments. So the investments are already lined up for us to be able to implement. So we went the other way around, because there's no point in having an MOU if you're not going to execute it. I just don't understand why you would do it. So we went, you know, sort of the way you should be able to do it is have the deal and then sign the MOU to be able to have an instrument to operate with.
Yeah, and perhaps do you have legal frameworks under your ministry that that you are formulating to sort of be ahead of the innovation curve? I've recently learned how critical those are.
Yes. Well, I mean, things like AI for good, things like cybersecurity, things like, education and healthcare in the AI space are really critical. You need to be able to have some legislation behind it. So an MOU like this also assists us, because countries like the UAE have already had legislation that is ensuring that the country and the citizens are covered and they're secure. So we're going to be able to tap onto that and be able to utilize that legislation, customize it for our market, but certainly be able to start off and have a foundational basis to work with, so we don't have to be able to be paying huge legal costs that sometimes we can't afford. But also just the thinking behind what do you input in a document of that nature. So the MOU is more than just being able to look at investments. It's also looking at the legal environment, but also to understand what's gone wrong in certain areas, so we don't have to go through those bad experiences.
I've heard you speak many a times about how our small population is an advantage. I suppose you juxtapose that with a lot of other populations in different economies around the world. How do we really leverage on this population size for us to be competitive globally?
Well, they say good things come in small packages.
Absolutely.
Many countries that have been really successful have been small populations. You look at Switzerland about financial services. You look at Singapore. You look at Dubai itself in the UAE. We shouldn't look at our size as a disadvantage. It's actually an advantage for us if we look at certain niches that we can really be leading and experts in. And ICT is in one of the areas I think we can really lead in, and in certain portions of it, because it's a huge and a vast environment. But if we look at particular areas that we can really lead in, we certainly can be known around the world for them. We can be able to attract investors on them. We can be able to train our youth in those areas. We certainly can also use them, most importantly, to change the economic position of our country.
One thing that I truly appreciate about the way that I've seen that you sort of look at things. I heard you speak at the Digital Symposium, and you are very much against this mindset of being proud about writing things and have them stay on files and shelves that archaic. You want things to be put into action. And just looking at the crux of the Digital Symposium itself, it speaks on something that is very critical for your portfolio, research. Let's speak about research. Our infrastructure in Eswatini, is it sufficient enough to help us do enough research? Really?
Well, the old research was you had methodologies and you had all kind of folks with PhDs, but going into the future, AI will be part of that research. So if the research center of the past is not going to be the research center of the future. We're going to use AI, we're going to use digitization to be able to do our research, but it's completely important. You need to be able to know what people are doing. You need to understand what's developing in the world, because this world is changing all the time. I mean, if you go to different countries, Dubai being one of them, it's a construction site all the time. But also if you look at the world of AI, the things that are being developed are just amazing and they're mind-blowing. We should be part of that. So it's really critical for us to be able to have research, understand that research is critical, but it's going to be a different kind of approach to research, not the old format.
Let's speak on the Royal Science and Technology Park as a hub for research in itself. How do we fully leverage this park, as well as probably look into the future and having more research centers in the country?
So, the park was great thinking and wise thinking from His Majesty's point of view. I mean, he was thinking ahead of anybody. What's important about it is that it really can be an engine room and will be an engine room for both what we do in government, but also how we support the country going forward. We just need to be able to ensure that we really start from a blank slate and really clean it up and get it to be sort of investor ready and future ready.
That's very important. I want us to go back to the Government in Your Hand initiative. A lot of people love the idea of it, but I just want to fully understand it myself. It sounds very ambitious and very, very handy. Bringing services closer to the people, I suppose, is even what the country is about. When you look at our constitution, what Tinkundla really means. Talk to me about how it's going to bring the government services to the people, and what are the immediate priorities?
Right. Well, two words: dignity, convenience.
Right.
That's it. right? Dignity meaning you're not standing in line for hours, you know, standing in line for cocoa and all that. Only be told the system is down. You know, we give you a dignity and convenience. You're a TV man, you're ready, you're busy all the time, your passport is expiring or expires or whatever. You should be able to, at the comfort of your own home, apply for it and have it couriered to you if you choose, or pick it up at Tinkundleni or a library. You know, it's a huge project we're taking on, and it's very ambitious. But we're hoping, would say, all government departments are going to come on board, because if they don't, you know, we're a service department to them and to the country. So if we get that support, and if we're allowed to really drive this, we can really transform this country and give everybody the right to be able to have democracy in this particular area, where you know, everybody's got a fair chance. Because once you do that digitization, it then spills over to schools, to healthcare, to agriculture, to, you know, to all these other areas. And all of a sudden, you're stimulating the economy and enabling people to open up their own businesses, to be able to have, because you have to touch government at some point. But if it's going to take 10 weeks to be able to get this, you know, 14 weeks to be able to get the other thing, you're inconvenienced. So we're trying to get that convenience to you. We're trying to get that dignity to you. And that's our positioning. But also we're bringing it to the globe and opening up those opportunities for you to be able to be better and do better for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose the elephant in the room when it comes to that particular conversation for the longest time here in Eswatini has been, for lack of a better word, the perennial cost of data. Very, very expensive in Eswatini. We have, I don't know, discussed it for so many years, and I remember it has been a challenge as well when it comes to implementing what they call the e-commerce readiness assessment. It was one of the most key challenges. How do we deal with this perennial cost of data?
It's not as expensive as we think it is. It's expensive when you compare it to our cost, you know, our income ratios. That's why it becomes expensive. But keep in mind, you know, since March, we've lowered the costs quite, you know, dramatically. You look at someone like MTN, they were able to lower their costs from 50 cents to 25 cents. So there's been a big move, and it will lower. But one of the most important things we've got to do is to lay fiber in the country. We've got to bring in more bandwidth. And we are looking at exciting things to be able to do that, and to do that in the most cost-effective manner. It's not easy, you know. I think you heard me speak about that we require 2.8 billion to be able to lay fiber throughout the whole country. We do not have 2.8 billion. So it takes longer to be able to get around to doing that. But we will be able to do that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you know, the problem is when we do buy, you know, the data from South Africa, we've got to cover too many costs for it to get to you. So if there's too many costs for it to cover, then of course it's going to cost more than it should. But our position and our drive is to be able to, you know, to figure out how we can continuously minimize that costing, because, you know, data is no longer a luxury. You know, now it's like buying bread. You must have it. You know, you need it for schools. I think COVID taught us how much it was so important to have that data for kids to be able to access education. But also it's a leveler of education, that everybody gets a fair chance to be able to get the same education and be able to get a fair chance at having a good kickstart in life. It gives you issues, you know, solutions in the area of healthcare. So you cannot look at it as, oh no, data is just luxury. It's absolutely what connects us to the world, but also it's what connects our children to be able to have a better education and a better life. So we will certainly be continuously working to lowering costs. But I just want people to understand the reason why it becomes so expensive is when we buy it, there's too many costs to cover, and we need to look at how we minimize those costs dramatically.
Okay. Allow me to segue a little bit back into what we touched on a little bit, which is global partnerships. It goes without saying how fast evolving the technological landscape is. You know, partnerships become very crucial. It becomes incumbent to make sure that we really do make strategic partnerships, and we are seeing a broader strategy to making sure. I mean, the UAE MOU signing is a result of that. How do we fully leverage more partnerships going forward? Is that something that is in your mind?
Absolutely. But you want to be able to be strategic about it. You don't go into every single partner, because then you spread yourself thin and you're not able to execute. Because part of the partnership is when you sign this MOU, even the partner wants you to be able to deliver. And when you don't and you just keep signing MOUs, you actually minimize and erode your position as a country. But also those partnerships and who you partner with tells the world who you are. So as small as we are, when you go with the bigger players, the more, you know, the more credible and experienced players, also positions us. Number three, we do not have the kind of money that the partners have. So how do we use that collaboration to be able to lean on them, to be able to help us resource? I mean, talking about this issue of data, talking about this issue of government in your hand, talking about the issue of investments. They will bring that money. They will bring that kind of financial resourcing that we require. Because if we're going to wait for the government budget, it's just not going to be able to be sufficient. And it's going to take forever for us to be able to cover that road. So you've got to think very differently. You've got to really look at this entire environment as a business environment, because it is. Whether you're in government or not, it is a business, because, you know, if rents and cents are spent, then you must think about the income coming in as well. And that's the differentiator we're thinking about. We're not thinking about just being able to bring in investors. We're thinking very differently for government. We're thinking of saying, if an investor comes into the country, we should be able to have a stake in the business. Somehow, some way we can get some kind of royalty, so that we're able to continuously get money for us to be able to be sustainable as RSTP, as the government, as whoever. We can't think in the old way. I'm always entertained when people think of, you know, bringing old thinking for new, you know, for old thinking for new problems. We've got to be able to really think about how do we think in a manner that separates us and really makes us different. This old thinking stuff is really kind of not sufficient for us.
Yeah, I'd be very negligent to not speak about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Doing my research on your work, I do see how, you know, you've always been enthused about this in particular. Goes as far back as 11 years from what I was able to dig up. It could be far more than what, it could be far way before that. Talk to me about, you know, this being a key focus on your agenda, the steps that are being taken to ensure that our youth is prepared to, you know, leverage all the opportunities for AI, robotics, and digital innovation.
Yeah, I've been involved in STEM for over 20 years. For the past 11 years, I've been working with the UN as a special ambassador on the issue of STEM, especially as it pertains to girls and women. We have to find a way to really have a focus on having STEM in education. I think it's criminal that we don't have, you know, K through 12 having STEM as part of a necessary subject, not even as a choice. Because even if you don't use it as a career, the world will be so STEM filled that if you don't have that as part of your package in your training, in your school career, you're going to lose out, because you're going to not be able to participate. It's almost like someone who doesn't know how to operate a cell phone. You're left out of the world and how it operates. We need to be able to figure out how do we quickly, very quickly, introduce STEM as part of our curriculum. And we need to be able to ensure that maths and science is part of our curriculum in a stronger way. So that's really what I think we're hoping to work on. We are working with the Department of Education, but we also as a ministry are wanting to be very aggressive in that area. Yeah.
I can't really recall how much time you've spent since you assumed office, but I just want a quick answer. She's conducting your own eye study. We are seeing the political will now, very, very enthusing. How are you seeing the youth's, you know, proactiveness in making sure that they will indeed leverage the opportunities that are going to come with your portfolio?
It's so funny. I always tell the people in the ministry that my target market is 35 and under, right? Because it's planning for the future. So you can't plan for someone's future without them participating. So that's why I'm always talking about the youth. I mean, one of the things that we're looking to do with sort of the new RSTP, if you will, is to make an engine room and really a boiler room to have a lot of these children who come in there who want to be able to have different apps to train them. And when we get the investors to get them to work for these companies, we need to have the skills base, by the way, because you bring an investor, someone from Eswatini must be able to work in that company. So we've got to train people. So we're going to use, you know, RSTP as a boiler room for training, but also we're going to be the partnerships, again, send kids to be able to go to school and be able to learn ICT. The great thing about ICT is you don't have to have a PhD. You can do low tech and high tech and mid tech. So, you know, wherever you fall into the spectrum, we can be able to give you that opportunity to work, and you can also develop as you work. So it's exciting that, you know, we must get away from the thing of staying in positions too long. You know, it's not fair for these kids, and we close opportunities for them. You know, we should be able to leave soon and let them be able to run the world. And it is their world that we're creating. Whatever we're doing today, we're writing history for our children. And I always tell friends, you know, when you are living your life, understand that you're writing your history today. So if we as leaders in Eswatini can be able to understand that everything we do impacts our children, everything we do stops opens opportunities for them, and it creates an environment where there can be a future for them.
Absolutely.
That is really how we should be leading, thinking about those children.
Absolutely, and I suppose as we leverage our small population size, we have our demographic dividend says we're a young population too.
Absolutely.
So we're going to fully leverage all those opportunities.
For sure.
Senator Mazia, thank you so
Yes.
much for your time this morning. Really appreciate having you on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's been good. Thank
Awesome.
you.
And that brings us to the close of what has been an enlightening conversation with Senator Savannah Mazia. Her office obviously leading the charge in Eswatini's digital transformation, opening doors to opportunities in artificial intelligence, ICT investment opportunities that will undoubtedly shape our future. As we look ahead to the next 20 years, it's clear that Eswatini is on the brink of a technological evolution, and trust me, I'm ready to see everything unfold. Let's go for a net break. We'll be back shortly.
Meet Tando. She's taking control of her health with the PrEP ring. The PrEP ring is a small, flexible silicone ring that you insert into your private parts once a month. It releases medication that helps prevent HIV. It's discreet, convenient, and fits seamlessly into your life. With the PrEP ring, you can reduce your risk of HIV infection and focus on what matters most. Empower yourself with the PrEP ring, your monthly shield against HIV. Worried about side effects? Most people on PrEP experience minimal side effects. Choose the PrEP ring to prevent HIV.
Njengoba nje imizuzu lemithathu kuphela uthi kubumbane insimbi yesikhombisa lomhla ekuseni singaqhubeki nomsebenzi asike sipopole imigwaqo yelive lomhla ukuthi ngabe nisaphuma nisaya emisebenzini simo semigwaqo vele siyalunga yini sehlo dlamini umlangeni siyakuvusela Nkosi ngabe imigwaqo lomhla ekuseni manje ipopola ime kanjani
awu imigwaqo yelive sesisholile sethembe ukuthi awu eMaswati atawuba abantu labaphephako basayisebenzisa ikakhulu nje-ke lesikubonile kungaba kula edolobheni laseMbabane nawukhuphuka lapha esifashini kune-truck lapho lebonakele kepha-ke ime la ngaphandle ku-Offrand kani nala emafini nakhona nawukhuphuka utanga kubomangwaneni nakhona kune-truck lemile nalapho kepha-ke emaphoyisa embubeni siva labuke yona phela indaba yamalagwane awabekile ema-traffic coins kutototimbili lesindawo lentishoko la kubonakala khona kunema-truck amile emgwaqweni asachubeka nalo luhambo lwawo kanike edolobheni lakaManzini khona umsebenzi uyachubeka lapha kusuka ku-interchange uyofika khona ku-traffic lapha emarobhotini ase-Central unusa nje-ke ukuthi sive simane sibambisane kuloyo ndawo leyo nalapha nawufika eMzimpofu nakhona ubheke khona emafutheni noma uqhamuka ngale le-side la ngasemafutheni basakhela libhloko lekuhamba ngetinyawo ngetulo kwemigwaco timpawu tekunciphisa litubane tikhona etindzaweni-ke letinye ngekwahlukahlukana kuyahambeka lokuhluphako nje-ke imfuyo lebonakale ngale ngaselibonjeni ikakhulu nawusuka khona kubomathetha ubheke ngakubomathini tibane temgwaco tiyasebenza kahle kakhulu kungaba nje-ke kunxusa ukuthi eMaswati amane abambisane kuze sitoba abantu labaphephile kungaba ngileto lengubikela tona elangeni lamuhla ngethembe ukuthi awu eMaswati atawuba abantu labaphephile basayisebenzisa imigwaco ngekwahlukahlukana kwabo
Dlamini okunene siyabonga-ke lo mbiko losipha wona sithembe ukuthi nani indawo bangilabo labaphephile nisaqhuba lo msebenzi lomkhulu nalomcoka nakangaka bongosi sibahlole emakethe nizobethe sengisisimele masibuya
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses A world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Just a minute after 7. Welcome back. You're still watching Kusile Breakfast Show. This is the Thursday edition. Right about now, we get into our English news segment. The Right Honourable Prime Minister, His Excellency Russell Dlamini, has officially opened the Eswatini Second Generation National Agriculture Investment Plan. This was a meeting yesterday. One of the most major challenges that have been identified in the Eswatini agricultural sector is that 70% of food that is consumed in Eswatini is imported. The meeting was held at the George Hotel in Manzini. We have a report.
Right Honourable Prime Minister, His Excellency Russell Dlamini says the Eswatini Second Generation National Agriculture Investment Plan comes at a time when government has just presented a policy statement that speaks of growing the economy by 12% annually.
And experts often say output is a function of inputs, the environment, and execution. Government has adopted the role of an active enabler in the process of economic transformation. We are gathered here today in a resource mobilization drive, and our aim is to market our planned activities so as to attract investment into the sector. This investment will provide the required inputs that will help the country improve its production systems to achieve increased agricultural input.
The Ministry of Agriculture says it plans to assist local farmers produce more, and this plan includes increased production of beef, beans, maize, and mango, among others.
We expect that very soon we'll be producing enough for ourselves. But the issue is that you also need to manage risks so that in case there's a drought, because for now we don't have enough irrigation infrastructure to continuously produce under irrigation. So we still will be dependent on rainfall, although we're targeting those relatively wet areas. But we therefore want to build strategic grain reserves in different places so that if for any reason there is any disaster, we're able to feed the nation for at least a couple of, in fact, we are planning to feed the nation for 3 years.
The youth says there is a need for the ministry to have a fund with very low interest and that will be accessible to the youth. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela with Smuva Shongwe, Manzini.
The Honourable Minister of Public Works and Transport, Senator Chief Ndlaluhlaza Ndwandwe, has handed over the first batch of the new government fleet. Now, the vehicles were purchased with the assistance from Standard Bank, Eswatini.
The Minister of Public Works and Transport, Senator Chief Ndlaluhlaza Ndwandwe, has officially handed over the first batch of new government fleet. The Honourable Minister says the first batch is 68 vehicles.
Kusebenza kahulumende bese kulukhuni kakhulu kude timotolo tekwenda umsebenzi kude timotolo tekunika sive lusito sitawukhumbula kuthe sibayeni sikhalo lesikhulu sive besikhala ukuthi asilithole lusito nasithi sibika la sibika khona kumele sithole lusito imphendvulo ithi kude timoto so sikulolo nyawo ukuthi ti70 tembuso tisasebenta tisitasive sitinike leti motolo tekusebenta singasho nje ukuthi leti motolo setiphelele kwanyalo titawuba ngu741 namuhla le state fulako ematikweni ting68 kungaba kucela nje ematikweni kwekuthi tiphathwe kahle leti moto tisebenziseke kahle letimoto sisasebenta lamatikweni ema-ofisi akusithi sonke lekufanele ukuthi sibe netimoto letimoto leti tita ne-tracker titawube tibonakala konke la titawube tihamba khona tibukwa abaphathi bematiko ngekwehlukana.
Standard Bank CEO Mvuselelo Fagutse touched on the importance of public-private partnerships.
One of the most important parts of what we've done on this program is to ensure that all the cars that are here are insured. So this is why they actually delayed, because we needed to sort out the insurance for the vehicles. They are all insured, so it means, and it's a milestone for government, because we've known in the past what happens when a government car is involved in an accident. It was a real problem. But I think this is meant to address that. But also, in addition, it's to address how we manage fleet. We use this a lot in the private sector. I think we're just trying to digitize the way that cars are managed, the way that cars are fueled, the way that cars are used.
Government is to complete payment of these vehicles in 5 years. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samgal Suekoza, Babane.
The Honourable Minister of Education, Owen Ngumalo, has promised teachers that his ministry is going to prioritize the issue of their welfare. Ngumalo says this is to assist teachers to produce to their maximum. He was speaking during the Hoho Teachers' Day commemoration that was held in Pikes Peak on Wednesday.
Speaking when addressing teachers during the World Teachers' Day commemoration for teachers under the Hoho region, the Minister of Education, Owen Ngumalo, says teachers' hard work doesn't go unnoticed.
Nangabe kuyabonakala ukuthi kukhona bothishela laba netinkinga financial. I think as a ministry we can assist ukuthi lo thishela loyo usitoka kanjani ukuthi aphume kuleyo nkinga leyo.
The minister says they dedicate themselves. Some travel long distances to and from school because there are no teachers' quotas. The minister says they will prioritize the welfare of teachers and other issues thereof. He understands that some are underpaid, yet they are overqualified. He says he's quite aware that teachers have been complaining on the issue of replacement of teachers, which is something they are working on with the relevant ministries. Teachers also got the opportunity to say something.
Teachers' well-being and workload are ministers. The reasons we raise is because it compromises the quality of education.
Siyakhala, sikhaliswa ukuthi i-competency-based education ifike yasinyathelela tifundo tetfu. Kunesifundo se-home economics lesibita kuthiwa i-consumer science, bese kuba nalesinye lokuthiwa i-agriculture. Mabasho njalo ke base abantwana ababe naleli khono lokuhlabela, babe naleli khono lokugitsa, babe naleli khono lokujayiva. Leyo ke sengiyona practical subject le most important. Sine njengabothishela sikhaliswa ukuthi besati ukuthi live lelithuthukile ibase yakhona iba ka-agriculture.
Kusivisa buhlungu ke ngidasi sibothishela ngingakhulumeli ma civil servants onke kuthi ngidawuhamba a distance of about 30 kilometers bese uhulumende songibhadala 17 cents per kilometer.
They sent a plea to the ministry to look into the improvement of the consumer science subject, which has a potential of creating self-employment for learners. For Eswatini TV News, I am Kian MCB, Pikes Peak.
The Honourable Minister of Tourism, Jane Simelane, says government will have engagements with the public to unearth long-lasting solutions on now frequent altercations between rangers as well as poachers. Now, the Honourable Minister was speaking during a press meeting on Wednesday.
Government says increasing reports of altercations between game rangers and poachers that involve shooting and loss of life is concerning. In a press meeting, the Honourable Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Jane Simelane, said government will have engagements with stakeholders and the public on sustainable solutions on this matter.
Ngaleso sizathu ke litiko licela ukuthi kube neluxolo nekuthula kulabatingelako. Sikholelwa ukuthi akube nekuhlalisana nekubambisana kubanikati betindzawo tekugcina tilwane nakiyo imimango. Hulumende utsandza kukhumbuta sive ngekumcoka bekuhlonipha imitsetfo yekuvikela tindzawo tekugcina tilwane, siphindze sexwayise imimango kutsi akuphele kutingela ngaphandle kwemvumo. Imigomo yekungena kuletindzawo ayihlonishwe ngoba hulumende uyati kwekutsi takhamiti kungaba netintfo letitidzingo kito letakhamiti. Litiko litawusukumisa umkhankaso wekuteka letindzaba leti ngetingoni noma ngemisakato yemoya. Khona kutofinyelela kito tonke tindzawo Eswatini lendzaba lesitabe siyiteka. Lapho khona sitabe sihlanganisa banikati betindzawo tekugcina tilwane, sisebentisa bantfu lababuke imimango, siphindze sisebentise bona lababuke letindzawo ema-rangers. Sive siyaceleka lokuthi sisinikete naso emakhambi ekwekuthi lendzaba lena singayisombulula kanjani.
The Honourable Minister further asked members of the public in possession of illegal firearms to return these firearms to the police, whereas the Right Honourable Prime Minister Russell Dlamini said this incident calls for the review and amendment of the Eswatini Game Act of 1991. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Samkal Suekoza, Babane.
The National Disaster Management Agency says it is working on improving the agency's documentation system. Now, this was said by its CEO, Victor Mahlalela, during a session with the Public Accounts Committee.
Following issues raised in the Auditor General's compliance report about unaccounted funds and irregularities on the payments of COVID-19 food assistance grants, the Auditor General, Timothy Matsibula, informed the Public Accounts Committee that the National Disaster Management Agency has failed to properly document financial information of these projects.
First phase and second, we start with isikhala ukuthi abakujust abakubhalanga phasi uzokhishwelwani lona ikanti bamkhanze ecenga ukuthi uvele uyadeserva siyabakazele bathola ngenasi bathola feedback akusadocumenteki so no sibethe isimo sakhe siyajinja.
NDMA CEO Victor Mahlalela acknowledged the consent by the Auditor General.
Silebesiwenda ngesizathu ngenxa lokusebenza were not documented. That is our own biggest mistake. I-change lebese i-effect ngaleso sikhathi leso ngoba kwakuyi-COVID. So sasizange sakhona kuyi-documenta. So ngiko le-Auditor General bekakufuna ngiyeva ukuthi senemkhiphile lona but nimkhipha ngaliphi.
The Honourable Committee debated audit queries pertaining NDMA.
Ngisolonga zama-grablisha wethu ukuthi the query ikakhulu ikuphi. Kube nce Auditor General ukuthi nabe sene-overspend kule ben-allocate kona.
Lenguvako lapha kule timpendulo takhe CEO dindzaba tema-possibilities ukuthi kungaba ngiloku kungaba ngiloku ude vele lesikutholako loku-straight lokuthi akwendeka kwekuthi.
Le query nangiva lama-response lachamuka ku-controlling officer achamuke kulabasubukele timali achamuke ku-AG kuthine bese kusishiya ehlathini.
Auditor General ukhuluma nge-over expenditure, controlling officer uthi over expenditure. Sesilandzela ephi routine.
The CEO further made a commitment that NDMA will improve their documentation system.
In the future going forward, this is how we're going to improve on documentation of changes leswendako ku project la kanjengale. I think lama issues nje azalandzelana onke nalokuthi ke lokunye ngile reconciliation eshokuthi njalo ngenyanga nama ke after siyendeleyo payment kwenziwe quickly le reconciliation.
By the time of compiling this report, the PAC was still engaging NDMA on other audit queries. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samgal Suekoza, Parliament.
Mangoba Khumalo, who is the Honourable Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, says members of Parliament need to be frequently capacitated on government bills. The Honourable Minister was speaking during a meeting with the House of Assembly on the Portfolio Committee, the Commerce Portfolio Committee.
The Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade continues to have engagements with Parliament on new enacted legislations under the ministry. On Wednesday, the Minister of Commerce had a meeting with the Minister of Commerce, Assembly Portfolio Committee to discuss clauses of Trading Licenses Amendment Act and Liquor Licensing Act.
Kuseneke tindzawo letiningi ukuthi lo nyaka singasheshe sikwende lokufaka ekhathi mhlambe ukuthi amabhokisi namabhala abekhashane netikolo abekhashane mhlambe namasonto abekhashane nemanyuvesi ngoba nyalo vele simo sisasho ukuthi kuhle ukhanza ukuthi akwenteka kahle lo mthetho lo sowukhona ke uyakushicilela lokuthi kufanele ukuthi kwenteke ngaleyo ndlela leyo kepha-ke sengikusho into lokho kufuna ukubambisana komasipala ukubambisana mhlawumbe nemimamo.
The Minister of Commerce Portfolio Committee Chair Mzwandile Mamba says the House is pleased to note that some of the clauses will address trading and liquor licensing concerns.
Sicishe saphenduleka kahle ukuthi ngabe ngoba sekunemibuto leminingi ukuthi sekusukume ibhodi letiningi emakhaya cishe-ke induna yemibuso nelitiko likhona ileqhazela abahlonishwa kwacishe kwaqada ukuthi kwabangwa yini litiko selikuphinyano uthini umthetho lo sewukhona noqishe ukubambisana nesive ekuthenini tshwala bungabe buningi kakhulu kubantwana bungabe dutana nemasonto bungabe dutana nalapho khona without step community ize futhi sibuke nje lokuningi lokuthintsana neliqwa order lebevele seyikhona se-exista ukuthi amendwa njani ngoba bese kubonakala ukuthi lamanye alama-charges semadzala kakhulu.
The Minister of Commerce pledged commitment in ensuring ease of doing business in the country for socio-economic development. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samgal Swekoza with Smuva Shongwe, Ezulwini.
The Eswatini Revenue Service has collected 6.2 billion emalangeni this year on their online platform e-tax system. This was shared by the Minister for Finance, Honourable Neil Reichenberg. He was launching the tax filing season at the Eswatini Revenue Service headquarters Ezulwini, where he encouraged all taxpayers to pay their taxes on time.
As we enter the tax season, I'd like to highlight the key deadlines that all taxpayers must keep in mind. The first one is the 30th of September. Employers are required to submit the annual PAYE reconciliation and make the necessary payments. The next one is the 31st of October. Businesses must file and settle their tax obligations. The next one is the 30th of November. Individuals, and particularly high net worth individuals, professionals, and those with multiple income streams must file their returns and make payments. This was referred to personal income tax. These deadlines are not mere formalities, but essential obligations. This year marks the first time that income tax returns will be filed through TaxEase. I'm pleased to report that over 7,500 accounts have already been registered. With this ability to link multiple tax identification numbers, what referred to as TINs, to a single account, TaxEase offers flexibility for individuals and businesses alike, with some users managing up to 20 TINs. We have also seen an encouraging uptake with the 8,124 taxpayers having filed their returns online through TaxEase. As of the 12th of September, 54,842 tax returns, which are made up of 38,900 from PAYE, 11,466 from VAT, 368 from company income tax, and 3,108 from personal income tax. All of these have been processed on the platform, a testament to the growing trust in the system. Moreover, I'm proud to announce that ERS has achieved an impressive year-to-date revenue collection of 6.02 billion emalangeni, which is a 13% increase compared to last year's performance under the legacy e-tax system.
16 people are currently being audited for lifestyle by the Eswatini Revenue Service. This was revealed by the Commissioner of Domestic Taxes, Vusi Ngampalala. This was during the launch of the tax filing season at the Eswatini Revenue Service at Eswatini.
We have 16 individuals that are undergoing lifestyle audits currently. And I must state that it is not a fast or quick audit like it is for companies, because we understand that if I am dealing with an individual, it depends on his availability.
On another note, the service says although there has been a slight increase in VAT tax compliance, there is still a significant number of businesses that do not pay VAT tax.
We have seen revenue from VAT increase by about 9% compared to last year. And as we speak today, it's the fastest growing of all the tax types that we have. And for the first time, we're ranging above the target by 2%, which means there have been significant improvements.
The Commissioner General of the Eswatini Revenue Service, Brightwell Nkambule, says different initiatives are being put in place to further increase tax compliance.
The system that we introduced recently has significantly improved our performance on VAT. Now, this system allows our taxpayers to file details of their VAT input-outputs. So with the detail, the invoices, basically all the invoices that they issue out are expected to be filed. The invoices that are in the payments that they make are expected to be filed. So that enables us to now cross-check to see who has paid who on VAT. So that has somewhat had a very positive impact on the performance as VAT.
The Eswatini Revenue Service urges businesses to comply with the tax laws this filing season, saying different programs are in place to assist those who will have challenges as they file their taxes. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminko Sinzinisa, Ezulwini.
The Eswatini Public Service Pensioners Association is requesting that the pension fund for senior citizens be reclassified from Category A to Category B. Now, the pensioners made this statement while delivering a petition to the Minister of Finance as well as the Ministry of Public Service. The association's president, which is Elliot Mkajwa, had this to say.
Lemithetho nayo ayisho ukuthi uhulumende unesabelo kulesikhwama sethu. Ude sinikhumbuseke mase iku-category A njengoba seyilapho ikutshela ukuthi seyinkampani yahulumende ngalokuphelele. Niyangeva musi nifundzile musi hambani nifunze.
Mkhatshwa says even laws in place do not indicate that government has a share in the pensioners fund. He further states that now that the fund is in Category A, it means it is fully controlled by the government. He says this means the government will be calling the shots without being questioned. He adds that pensioners don't want anyone to tell them about their money. The petition delivered by the elder were received by the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Public Service, Sipho Tsabetsa, and the Director of Finance, Armstrong Dlamini.
Stabatata sewethula etinduneni le ke jobashi to president ukuthi nicela timphendvulo masinyane sitabusho konke lokho kubantu labadzala njengoba nikubekile.
Tsabetsa states that they would hand over the petitions to the relevant ministries. He emphasizes that the elderly people are important and thank them for peacefully delivering the petitions. He asked that all differences be resolved in peace. Dlamini states that his role was simply to receive the petition and then hand it over to the Minister of Finance. The elderly people gave the government 2 weeks to respond to the petitions, threatening to take the matter to the courts if necessary. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Mbabane.
The Ministry of Home Affairs has held a consultative meeting with NGOs to come up with laws governing their operations in the country. We have a report.
Namhlanje besibite tonke tinhlangano letisebenta njengema NPOs nema NGOs. Utawuxoxisana nato sitichazele ukuthi kunani lakhathe kulomthetho.
The purpose of the consultative meeting with the non-governmental organizations is to enlighten the NGOs on the law governing them and its contents. She says previously NGOs would be registered under the Ministry of Commerce, but there's now a change as they have since been shifted to the Ministry of Home Affairs. She says it is important that they update each other with everything that comes up regarding their laws governing NGOs in the country. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian Msibi, Mbabane.
We take focus now when we look at international news. Ukrainian drones struck a large military depot. This was in a town deep inside Russia and it happened overnight. It caused a huge blaze, prompting the evacuation of some local residents. A Ukrainian official and Russian news report told this to some reporters on Wednesday.
The explosion was so large that earthquake monitoring stations picked up tremors. Amateur video shows a huge mushroom cloud rising into the sky after a Ukrainian drone attack targeted a large Russian weapons depot in the town of Toropets, almost 500 kilometers north of the Ukrainian border. Ukrainian military sources said the strike destroyed depots housing short-range ballistic missiles, guided bombs and artillery ammunition.
I would like to thank our soldiers who ensure our long-range capability. Last night's result in Russia was very important, and these things weakened the enemy.
Regional Russian officials downplayed the attack.
As a result of the arrival of unmanned aerial vehicles on the territory of the Russian Federation, the air defense system of the Ministry of Defense did its job. They were shot down and falling debris caused the fire.
While Ukraine deploys drones hundreds of kilometers into Russia, its ground troops are continuing to battle Russian forces just inside the border in the Kursk region. Kyiv is also claiming victories there, a military spokesperson claiming on Wednesday that the Russian counteroffensive had been stopped. That's after Moscow said Russian troops were successfully repelling the surprise incursion that began last month. On the Ukrainian side of the border, Russia is keeping up its efforts to push towards the strategic city of Pokrovsk. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says his government is working on reinforcements for the region. With the war now dragging on for 2.5 years, Zelensky says Ukraine has a fully prepared victory plan to end it.
There is and cannot be any alternative to peace. Any freezing of the war or any other manipulations that will simply move the Russian aggression to another stage.
He wants to lay out his vision at a peace summit in November, to which Russia will be invited.
Handheld radios used by Lebanese armed group Hezbollah detonated on Wednesday. This was across the Lebanon south in Beirut suburbs in the Bekaa Valley, further stoking tensions with Israel a day after similar explosions by the group's pages.
Multiple explosions occur for a second day running across the south of Lebanon and in the southern suburbs of Beirut, this time reportedly from walkie-talkies detonating. At least one of the blasts occurred at the funeral of 3 Hezbollah members and a child, killed by the exploding pagers the day before. Hezbollah has vowed revenge on Israel for Tuesday's attack, which killed 12 people and wounded thousands, overwhelming hospitals in Hezbollah strongholds.
Whoever saw the injured arriving at the emergency room knows that they were not all young men. We saw children, elderly people, and this shows that a lot of these pagers were in homes. Children could have been playing with them.
UN officials said Wednesday that civilian objects should not be weaponized.
Simultaneous targeting of thousands of individuals without knowledge as to who was in possession of the targeted devices, their location and their surroundings at the time of the attack violates international human rights law. Those who ordered and carried out such an attack must be held to account.
While Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned of serious risk of further escalation between Israel and Hezbollah.
The logic of making all these devices explode is to do it as a preemptive strike before a major military operation. Everything must be done to avoid that escalation.
Before Wednesday's blasts, Hezbollah officials described Tuesday's attack as the most serious security breach in the history of the group. Experts said Israeli operatives had likely planted explosives on the paging devices before they were delivered to Hezbollah. The second wave of exploding devices Wednesday suggested even greater infiltration into Lebanon's supply chain. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah is due to give a televised address on Thursday.
On our sports news today, the case between Manzini Wanderers and Denver Sundowns proceeds at the High Court on Wednesday. Representatives of Denver Sundowns captain Jimo Moses, who is the player in question in this matter, are requesting that Judge Bongi Makakula should recuse himself from the case on grounds that he has strong connections with a familiar face within the structure of Manzini Wanderers. Now, the case is expected to return to court this Friday.
And Denver Sundowns proceeded at the High Court on Wednesday morning. Prior to the High Court, the case was heard at the Disciplinary Committee and at the Appeals Board. The case is a formal complaint by Manzini Wanderers over player Jimo Moses of Denver Sundowns, who they believe played the final game of the 2023-2024 M10 Premier League season without his work permit. And in that game, Wanderers lost against Denver Sundowns. When the case was heard at the High Court, it went straight to the chambers. Representatives of the player Jimo Moses requested that Judge Bongi Makakula should recuse himself from the case on the grounds that he is conflicted by virtue of being a close friend to Sibani Mngomezulu, a well-known figure at Manzini Wanderers. The final of the discussions in the chambers saw Judge Makakula postponing the hearing to this coming Friday at 9 in the morning. He, however, urged representatives of Jimo Moses and Denver Sundowns to file an application stating fully on the issue of recusal. In this matter, Jimo Moses, the football player, was represented by Lucas Mazia, while Denver Sundowns is represented by Banere Ncampalala. The matter is before Judge Bongi Makakula at the High Court. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabi Sumsana, Babane.
That marks the end of our news. We have the weather forecast. We'll go for a net break after that, and we'll be back very, very shortly.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 762222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewers' TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you'll go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Kuthuthuka kwembango, kuthuthuka kwetinkhundla. Kuthuthuka kwetinkhundla yintuthuko yelive lonke. Thokotela luhlelo sive siyathuthuka nasikulethela intuthuko emimangweni njalo ngabo lesithathu nase ishaye yagabanca insimbi yesithupha kusihlwa. Sive siyathuthuka.
Welcome back. You're still watching Kusile Breakfast Show. Sakvusela Naulo Sanza Gusivulela. The Eswatini Building Society is making a steady progress towards its goal of converting into a commercial bank, launching the second phase of this transformation with the aim of operating as a fully fledged bank by the beginning of the 2025 financial year. We are now joined by the Managing Director, Mbali Sibanyoni, to tell us more about a scheduled meeting to take place on the 15th of November this year. Thank you for joining us, Lomhlex, and it's so good to have you. You're going to have this meeting on the 15th of November. What is the purpose of this meeting?
Thank you, and thank you for having us today. The purpose, I think I will start by saying, as you will know, the Building Society is owned by the permanent shareholders. And as we do this conversion and the journey that we're on, the permanent shareholders or the members have to make the final decision, hence the meeting that we have on the 15th of November. So okay. That is why it's a special general meeting.
Okay, so perhaps if we could get into the conversion, what is the purpose of this conversion? What does it mean? I mean, you have been in existence for over 60 years, 62 years to be precise, the Eswatini Building Society.
Okay, I always make an example about us. You start as a baby and you grow until a certain age. The Building Society, as you say, it's existed 62 years, it has grown, and therefore it has to grow a step further, hence the conversion, because as a business, we also need to look at the sustainability. You will note that as a Building Society, We have one of our major products. It's the home loans or the mortgage financing, which is predominantly what we have. So this is no longer, the market share has actually shrunk because we have competitors in this space. So as a business, we need to look at our sustainability. And we believe that with the 62 years of existence and with all the infrastructure that we've put in place, you will note that we have close 11 and a half, because our micro branch is not a fully fledged branches, and then we also have quite a number of ATMs that we've placed across the country. So this also now means we also need to give more to our customers and try and create a one-stop shop for our customers at the Building Society.
Yeah, speaking of a one-stop shop, currently I understand that you're now offering only 2 products as a society. So what will happen after the conversion? Will you offer a wider range of products? Seeing, you've just mentioned that it's a competitive industry.
Yes, going to the banking space makes us to offer products. I'll make an example. As a Building Society right now, we can't even do quick loans in case you have you need an overdraft. We can't offer you that. So this will enable us to also get into other products. But what I also want to advise our valued customers is that as much as we will be converting, we will not fully offer all the products because we have to grow steadily so that the business is well capitalized in the future to then offer all other products. But we will be moving into the SME space, we will be moving into the business banking space. So again, it does give us that opportunity to grow our offering to our customers.
So you're looking into working with SMEs.
Yes,
Government has always emphasized they are a critical sector.
Yes,
you're looking into working with SMEs, financing SMEs.
Yes, I think one of the things that you can look at, the branch that we have at Kashali is also one of our things to show that we want to work with the people. And that is an area where you will find that you have the small businesses. So that is also to cater for those people, bringing our services to our people. So at the end of the day, our SMEs, right now, we can't service them fully. So once we convert, we will be able to assist SMEs.
Okay. MD, do you foresee any challenges in the conversion? Is it smooth sailing for now? Do you foresee any challenges?
I can't say there will be challenges, and I can't say there will not be challenges. In every journey, you just prepare yourselves to say what happens if this comes up. Our conversion statement, which we have sent to the members and request the members to read, it does show, excuse me, the risks that we have identified and how we're going to mitigate those risks. Yes, yeah. So, and I do encourage members to also join in the town hall meetings that we are calling them, so that we explain this process further to them.
Yeah. So with such huge transitions, MD, your clients would be. Have you reassured your clients that the investments are safe with the transition?
Yeah, funny, because that's the question that we are being asked. And yes, we are, because maybe let me explain. The Building Society, as it has existed for 62 years, does fall in the banking sector. And this is a highly regulated sector, which also ensures that we safeguard the funds or the deposits that we have. The second thing is that as a building society, as much as we are not a bank, we have adopted certain practices that are done in the banking space to ensure that we comply with certain regulations. We are aware that these are hard-earned earnings of Eswatini, so we need to follow certain principles. And hence we do believe that our move to maybe to the central bank fully and to be under that space, it's also to ensure that now that the funds that we're holding have grown to a certain extent, it will ensure that we follow best practice in terms of managing those funds.
Yeah, so going back to the meeting, what are the contents, of the meeting? What is expected of members on the day?
So members will note that we have issued a notice in the gazettes and the papers. There are resolutions that will be taken on that day. So what we are doing now with the member education is also just to unpack the process of what's going to be followed. So one of the resolutions is that allowing the building society to convert and be a company and register a company, and which we have also proposed the name of the bank. That's for the members to also approve.
Okay, just lastly, MD, where is the meeting going to take place and what time does it commence?
The meeting will be at the Royal Villas on the 15th of November, and it's starting at 9.
All right, so thank you so much,
Yes.
MD, for your time. There you have it. The Eswatini Building Society is just transitioning from being a building society to a commercial bank. The meeting will be held on the 15th of November at the Royal Villas Hotel. Let's take a break. Nasibuya sikhulumisana nabaseMbiveni Meat Industries.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any NetBank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi.
Aba research bafunze.
Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sende ukukhicita lokusembili.
Welcome back. It's 12 minutes before 8 o'clock. We are now joined by a marketing officer at the Eswatini Meat Industries, Nontikilelo Dlamini, to talk to us about Eswatini Meat Industries' quality of their products and also them aligning to the King's Vision of 2022. A very good morning and welcome to the program, Sabonga. Let's talk about the quality of your products. But before we get into that, how is Mbiveni Meat Industries aligning to the King's Vision?
Thank you so much for having us. So Mbiveni siyadiqhenya sithi nje we are the first world meat factory lekhona Eswatini, so lo sihamba khona phela ku vision yengwenyama yethu lesithandza kakhulu. Sithi sing first world nje kungenxa ukuthi Mbiveni uthatha lesikhathi atinike ukuthi ngabe i-food safety yalenyama lesihambisako isezingeni lelinganani. Lokho kusho ukuthi we have measures in place e-factory yethu lesiproduce kuyo inyama that ensure ukuthi lenyama lesihambisa siyise esiveni ingle clean, ingle hlobile, ingle pure quality. You know, yes, so si aligna ngaleyo ndlela leyo futhi ke sing Mbiveni we've provided jobs to eMaswati. Sifuna siyakhula kanye kanye neMaswati sihambisane kanye kanye towards the first world country. Also kulogo we are partnering with the community ngalesikwendako ngekuthenga tinkomo ngekuproduce yona lenyama siphinde siyibuyisele kuwona eMaswati idliwe ngewona laMaswati. So sithi nje kanye kanye neMaswati we are moving towards the vision of being the first world country.
Yeah, so what are these measures then wathathako nje mhlambe nasibuka things about the safety kuphepha kwenyama lesiyithengako? What are some of these measures that lisatfwa ngu-EMI?
Okay, imbiva nayisathenga lenyama from the farmers. Nasithenga lenyama siyayipopola. Siyipopola lenyama siyibuke ukuthi lenkomo lesitayithatha siyimixa factory yethu ide in bo foot and mouth, ide in dilonza leti ngabe setifaka emagciwane ekhathi efactory yethu. Nasiyibonakala ke leyo nkomo ukuthi ilungele ukuthi ingangena efactory yaseMbiveni. Siphindze futhi sibe nabo inspector labakhona esayithini factory labaphinze bapopole le carcass yale nyama just to make sure ukuthi ide bo TB ite bo salmonella and kufakazela logo Mbiveni has been certified by the European Union and also the British Retail Consortium Global Standards that are looking at international food safety standards. So Mbiveni has met those standards. Ngiko nje utawukhona kubona ukuthi siyathengisa kubo Europe, siyathengisa eTaiwan, siyathengisa kubo Norway. It's because siyawamita lama standards, lama food safety standards emhlaba wonke. So that is what we are speaking of nasikhuluma ngequality in every cut.
First world indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, so sila kabanti ke ngiyatlo ukuthi you have a wide range of products.
Yes.
Sila kabanti ngama products enu nje now.
Okay, my products efu la khona ngidawhighlighta just a few. Kunama products beef, kune product here pork, kune product here seafood, and there's also what we call processed meat. Ku beef nje ngidawubekisa ikhona string beef lesisithandza kakhulu sendatitshu ngaso. Ikhona ichuck yatfolakala etitolo taseMbiveni. Ichuck ke uyakhona kuyenda stew, uyakhona futhi kuyosa. Akhona meaty bones, bo T-bone steak bakhona siyabenda eMbiveni. And then ngala ku pork sinabo bo pork chops, sinako ne sliced pork siyathengisa. And then the seafood Seafood ke sinema prawns, sinema shrimps, sinema spanka na fish lenemehlo ikhona nayo leyo. We also have bo hake fillet. We have all those products. And then ngenasa sita ngala processed kusho ukuthi sesiyigayile lenyama sesenda lokunye njengabo polony. We have French polony, we have garlic polony, sinema Vienna, fubamfana nje esikolweni nabendele breakfast konke lokho kutfola eMbiveni. Ikhona ne ham sethengisa eMbiveni, konke lokho onke lama products lawo nje akhona eMbiveni, akhona nakusetitolo letithengisa yona phela inyama yaseMbiveni.
Ngiphi nje labayithanda kakhulu ama customer enu? Konke loseyibalile.
Yebo, senkodwa kuyisho. Bathanda iSMI Vos. iSMI Vos ngiyo lehamba embili because it's traditional. We've actually introduced a new traditional Vos. Leyo ke in 90% pure meat. Ikhona yatfolakala eMbiveni meat market lapha kuMathapa. So we are pushing the quality. Nasithi nje 90% pure meat evosini. That speaks volume.
Quality meat.
Yeah, it speaks quality.
You did say ukuthi niba nema community engagements ni banawo nema road shows. Sichazela abantu ngama road shows and ukuthi when is the next one?
Okay, the next roadshow that we are going to be having is next week. Sisatobuka location, but guessing Mbiveni, we are currently focusing on lama towns lawalana letitolo taseMbiveni. So most probably stabe senhlangano noma stabe sekamanzini sita communicator as ven. Emma roadshows the specific purpose of them is for us to take the product to the customer, take the brand to the end user. So we are engaging with them. Sibaxoxele abantu ngalama products lesikhuluma ngawo ngale quality lesikhuluma ngawo sibatshele nalokuthi bangayithola kuphi siwaphathe lama products bawabone sisadlala lemidlalo ya roadshow bayawa winner and they go home and taste the quality that we are talking about. So Emma roadshows etfu alogo lenye I community engagement lebe sengi highlight lesizwamniloko kusetinkomo sithi thenga kuwona laMaswati sibuyisela kuwona laMaswati sithi abalethe tinkomo tabo eMbiveni si process phinze futhi sibuyisele esiveni iyodliwa ngiwo eMaswati.
Nisebenzisana nama butcheries netitolo tikhona lemimangweni.
Yes, so si partnership nema butcheries the local shops nanka lebo supermarket labancane bovuka uzenzele yabo lama shops lawo nje lale emakhaya. We've partnered with them and we are moving the product la kulama communities emakhaya nasemadolobheni.
Yeah. Akhona in my specials la khona mhlambe sisangena nje ku weekend ni kuba khona in my specials ni leni niwendi tolo ten.
Yes, akhona ema specials that abakhona sibuke nje a month end special sisayikhulumisa ukuthi ngabe singayibeka kanjani special sefukuze ukuthi si entice phela emaswati akhona kuyithenga and ibe affordable. So sita communicator probably the beginning of next week. Ngoba phela sibukane ukuthi bayaqala bahola emaswati and then they will be able to buy the product yasembiven. So we will communicate special dihlezi dikhona. We have weekly specials, we have monthly specials, and then also we have calendar specials lapho khona ukhanza ukuthi nyalo nje kuna back to school yabo siyathengisa ama products lawa la hambako for ama breakfast ebantwana laba esikolweni. So we are all about that. We are all about specials. Sendela ukuthi inyama yasembiven ibe affordable for emaswati.
Yeah, kuma sisengasemaphethelweni nje nsiki ushude ukuthi vele inyama yenu senithengisela abo Norway nabo Taiwan ngabe nayithola vele feedback ukuthi vele bayayivuma inyama nje bushude ukuthi it's quality meat.
Yes, lokho kusho lokuthi nje they keep coming back. They keep coming back kusho kona ukuthi hayi lenyama yethu bayayivuma. Ngoba ekulukhona ukuthola inyama line quality la ngaphandle. Kulukhona kakhulu bayabuya bayathenga. It's an ongoing partnership, it's an ongoing relationship. Sibukene ukuthi singaya kulamanye other parts of the world sithengisa yona inyama yasembiven ngoba phela i-world standard siyayimit.
Yeah. Kokugcina kafishane nje titolo tembiven titfolakala kuphi at the moment 11.
Sikhona la eMbabane, sikhona eMbabane ngale ngasemsakadweni eceleni kwase Websters, sikhona kaManzini downtown lapha ngase KFC, sikhona nase front shop eceleni kwePower lapha ngase Basreng kaManzini, and then sikhona ke eMbiveni the famous one lapho khona besiyakathela nyalo sesine kumathapha nyalo sine market lenkulu eyayo inyama yaseMbiveni, and then also sikhona enhlangano lengenhla ngase Pick n Pay sikhona kulo onke lamadolobha lawo.
Alright, thanks so much Nsiki. So divele ke mbukela ukuthi month end specials ayeta, so do stay tuned kuma social media pages ayo Eswatini meat industry totfola ukutokhona bona ukuthi ngabe yini le inyama leshiphisiwe kodwa na ukutokhona kuyithenga. Let's go for an ad break nasibuya stop esahlelo.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
It's 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. We've come to the end of our program. Lomhla, thank you for joining us. Mosanza kusivulela ungakhathateki usangakhona kusibukela rewind nje khona lapha ekhasini lethu ka YouTube Eswatini TV. Ngalakaloko, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day.
truth shall be your shield.
Coming up on TPI.
You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor the arrow that
For me, it wasn't just about singing songs about Jesus. For me, it was always about telling my story.